Of the doldrums.
Speaker.
I call the Honourable Minister Bill English.
Well, Mr Chair, usually the member says something I can agree with because it's correct, but in almost 10 minutes he actually didn't say anything that was correct. The reason we know Labor's numbers don't add up is because we've looked at Labor's numbers. And actually there's no such thing as a choice between capital gains and proceeds of asset sales, because when you look at Labor's published table, they put them together themselves, all the capital gains revenue, if you believe it'll collect any, is used up paying for its other extravagant promises. Not because we say so, but because that's what the table says that they published. And when you go through the booklet, it doesn't show an offset to asset sales at all. It leaves a $7 billion hole. So Labor have to explain how they're going to pay for new schools, because the capital gains tax isn't there. It's being used, if it raises any revenue, and that's a different argument altogether, as part of a silly little tax package that achieves not much for a lot of pain and effort. That's what that does. There's at least a $7 billion hole. Because if Labor are going to claim that they are going to reduce debt at the speed at which these estimates show, then where are they going to get the money to do it? Not from the capital gains tax. They will have to borrow more. And I don't know if Huey and Dewey have told Labor's caucus that, but that's the case. If there's a secret spreadsheet, well, we better see it, because it's not in the published numbers. The published numbers simply do not add up, because the capital gains tax revenue is used to pay for the other extravagant promises. But of course, none of that matters, because no one's taking any notice, because most New Zealanders know what we know. If you want to grow this economy, then you need controlled government spending, you need sensible taxes that incentivise investment and exports, and you need less debt. You need less debt. The other package is higher government spending, more new taxes, and a lot more debt. Well, that will grow something. It'll grow the government. That's what it'll do. It'll grow the government. And that's what Labor always does. That's what they did the whole time they were in government. But you see, the New Zealand public know that that was the problem, not the solution. The solution to our economy isn't a bigger government taxing more, spending more and borrowing more on the kind of useless projects that Labor specialised in. It's about the government taxing less, spending less, borrowing less, and helping the rest of the country grow the economy, not using the rest of the country to grow the government. And until Labor get up and apologise to the public for those policies, until they agree the public were right to throw them out, no one is going to listen. Shane agrees. Of course he agrees.
Order.
He's just waiting until the front bench fails yet again to grasp the basic political truth that until Labor apologise, until they figure out how to reconnect with a new aspirational New Zealand, not an old dependent New Zealand, then they're not going to get anywhere. And that is what is so sensible about these estimates, Mr Speaker, is the opposition might not understand what they're about, but New Zealand does. Rob Muldoon once said New Zealanders wouldn't understand a deficit if they tripped over it. He was wrong. Not just on that, I might say. He was wrong, because New Zealanders do understand what's needed in this economy, and they will get an opportunity in a few months to make a choice about whether to vote for the fact that they are right or that they are wrong and the opposition are right. And I'm picking that they'll probably back themselves.
I call the Honourable David Parker.